Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I have some new stories for you today. Let's go to the first one, about OP's sister, who revealed OP's affair to his wife, which really affected OP's divorce at the time. But now she wants to be back in OP's life, despite OP promised to never speak to her again. Listen to the story to find out all the details, and of course to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I, male 38, used to be fairly close with my sister Jen, female 34. However, about 10 years ago, we parted ways. Long and short of it, I was in a marriage that was really dysfunctional. I'm not proud of it, but towards the end of the marriage, I started a relationship with another woman. I was planning on divorcing soon, and although I should have ended things with my ex first, I didn't. Again, no question, that was wrong, and I've never done anything like that again. Jen found out. She read me the riot act, and I didn't disagree with her. However, she told me she was going to tell my then wife. I pleaded with her not to. She said she had a moral obligation. I asked her if she had any obligation to me out of loyalty. She had next to no relationship with my ex. I did all kinds of things for her, lent her money anytime she asked, and never said anything when she never paid me back. Never ratted on her to our family when she'd sneak out and party until dawn, and even helped her get back into the house when she stayed out too late and needed to sneak back in. I never ratted her out for D, and always treated her with the utmost loyalty. Jen didn't care. She said that as a good person, she can't hold it in, and that even if I saved her life, she would still have to. I told her that if she stabs me in the back, she is dead to me. I will never speak to her again. I will never allow her in my home or enter hers. She will have made an enemy of me for life. The only time I will ever share a room with her again will be our parents' funerals. Maybe she thought I was bluffing. Maybe I wasn't. She called my ex, and we had a very ugly divorce. The judge really slammed me as a result of the affair, and it took me years to recover. I accept that the affair was my doing. However, I've never forgiven my sister for selling me out. My lawyer estimates that the affair cost me about $60,000 in terms of the difference in what my ex was awarded. I'll not go into detail, but it has really set me back in life. I held to my word, and that was the last time we ever spoke. She tried to reach out a few times and even apologized, but the damage was done. I didn't attend her wedding, nor was she invited to mine. She has never met my son and never will. I got a very long email from Jen the other day telling me how she wants me to meet her daughter, who is 5 now. Jen's own marriage broke up a few years ago, and she's a single mother. Our parents have moved across the country, and she reached out asking if we can have a relationship and that her daughter wants to know her uncle. I wrote back to her telling her that I am tired of telling her to leave me the hell alone. Back then, she had her choice between having a brother or scratching her do-gooder itch. Her own sanctimony was more important to her than me, and we all have to live with that. My mother thinks I should let things go. However, I cannot forgive her and feel that she made her choice. I think this will be an unpopular opinion, but I think it wasn't her business to get involved. No, I do not condone cheating, but I personally would not have interfered. Not right away anyways. His sister could have said to him, "End this affair or ask your wife for a divorce now," or "I will tell your wife about it." But instead she hung OP out to dry. I would never talk to her again as well. Also, OP made it clear to his sister that would happen. If OP does not feel like forgiving her, he shouldn't. She made her choice after all. And now let's hear if the community agrees with me. Jersey Girl says, "You're the a-hole. I'm guessing it's easier to blame your sister for all of this than to truly accept you were in the wrong when you cheated. If it had been your ex cheating on you, would you have wanted your sister to tell you?" Infinite Adeptness 58 says, "You're the a-hole. You ducked around and found out. Sneaking a sibling in after they've been out partying, or loaning some money, is nowhere near the same thing as covering for an affair. Your ex deserved to find out, and Jen was just the person who told her." Defiant Amount says, "Not the a-hole. She caused unnecessary harm to both sides. You financially, and your ex mentally. Maybe, possibly. The ex never had to know. You were ending things anyway. Now your sister just wants free childcare and money to support her kiddo. Forget her already." My friend was moving houses 5 years ago and had 6 old chairs and a dining table he couldn't keep. I had a look at them. Seemed okay. A bit old and used, so I offered £50 for the lot. He said something like, "I was actually going to throw them away. You've saved me the hassle." I did think, shouldn't have paid £50. But I thought a deal's a deal, so I paid £50. I organized a man with a van to collect and deliver them, emailed him to say thanks for helping get everything into the van, happy with purchase, and saved me paying for first-hand dining set. He replied saying no probs, glad they've got a new home. End of story. Fast forward 5 years, and I'm moving house myself. New place too small for huge table and chairs, so need to sell. I find info on underside of table, take lots of pics, and email loads of places nearby asking for price to purchase. Within an hour, I get 3 replies. They all want to inspect furniture and assess. By end of week, I get 3 offers, and highest is £1,500. Apparently, once restored, they'll be worth a lot more. Jackpot. I post, saying house move going to plan, etc. Then add in the great news that I scored a $1,500 jackpot selling my old table and chairs. Later that night, my mate messages me in a rage. First half is just aggression, but second half reads, I'm demanding half the money from the sale of my table and chairs. I only gave them to you to look after. I didn't sell them to you. I'm happy to agree to half since you've had them in storage in your house. If you've been using them, fair enough. But I'm not happy you're selling them because I didn't agree to that. My bank details are blank. Transfer me £750 by the end of the week, and I'll call it quits. If money isn't received, I'm going to small claims court and also police to report that you're selling my property. I reply, I literally bought these from you. Are you insane? I even have an email where I thanked you helping to get the furniture into the van. I also say you saved me money buying a dining set firsthand. He replies, so this is how you thank me 5 years later, making huge profit from a mate. If I'd known how much it was worth, do you seriously think I'd have sold it to you for £50? You're two-faced. I'm going to go to small claims court. I reply, you just said you sold it to me for £50. That's my point. You literally sold to me. I didn't know they were worth that much when I bought them. The fact is, I bought it from you fair and square. End of discussion. The last reply I have is, at the very least, I want my fair share. Why is money so important to you? Are you that greedy? Give me £500, and that leaves you with £1,000. If you don't do that, then I know exactly the type of person you are. I'll tell people as well, mate. Do you honestly want people knowing that you did this to a mate? The ball's in your court. I'm really losing my mind about this. Am I the one who's wrong here? Should I share the profit to save face? Am I the a-hole? So he sold OP something for £50 that OP sat on for 5 years, then sold for £1,500, makes him for a fool. Firstly, he sold it to OP. OP gave him money for an item. OP picked it up and drove off with it and waved goodbye, taking his £50 thinking he was lucky to get the money for something he was planning to bin. Now he realizes he was a fool, and he wants his cut. Oh, hell no. If OP was simply storing it for him, where's OP's monthly rent money? Storage units cost money. OP needs to let him take him to small claims court. OP has got documentation. He doesn't. OP will win. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Snoo Chipmunk 770 says, not the a-hole, but stop sharing details about money you have. That will never, ever get you anywhere good. It'll always be moochies like these when there's money involved. Stoat King says, not the a-hole. I think you should give him the £500 he most recently mentioned. But of course you're going to have to deduct a storage fee for looking after his table for so long. $3 a week sounds fair. Sadly, that means he owes you £280. Oh dear. Individual ad says, not the a-hole. He's just being greedy. Using his logic, he's entitled to half the profits from the resale of his home by the person who buys it from him. Oh yeah, he's not your friend. Context. I was separated right before the virus and got a pro se divorce during the virus. I have 2 kids with my ex-husband, one of which is 20 and lives with him in the house in question. The other is 18 and living off at college. I left the house December 2019 because he refused. He blocked all of my efforts to make repairs to the home and refused to allow me to take out a loan in my name to get the repairs made, and blocked that effort as well. He then had to take out a HELOC to make repairs to the home, which I signed off on to allow him to do this. I have no financial responsibility for this HELOC, as he also would not have had I taken one out. Edit for clarity. My ex-husband's name is on both the mortgage and the deed. I'm the primary borrower on that loan. I did not ask him to refinance the house to take my name off of it and buy me out, and we did not parse out property in the divorce because I wanted to be sure the court would grant our divorce, so I kept it as simple and straightforward. Yes, we agree on everything, as possible paperwork-wise, since neither of us had an attorney. We were divorced in summer 2021. After the divorce was finalized, we agreed to wait until the mortgage interest rates went back down, and we would then refinance and remove my name, and I would not ask for any equity, since I took my savings account and 401k with me. I left the home and everything in it with him, and the shared bank account. I really wanted out. Since then, I've entered into a new relationship, bought a house with my boyfriend. I'm the only one responsible for the mortgage, but he is on the deed, and had a planned baby with him because he really wanted to be a dad. We've been together almost 3 years. He is a stay-at-home dad, and I have a full-time job which barely covers our costs. Mortgage rates have gone up a lot, and my ex-husband was fired, so he is having trouble making the payments on time. I am still the primary borrower on that loan, and it is causing serious issues in my current relationship, since I cannot get my name off that loan as soon as I had planned. I've not covered any of the payments for him, or given him any money. The issue is my boyfriend is now saying he will not marry me until I can prove I am completely detangled from my ex-husband. He wants me to force a house sale and get half the equity in the former marital home. He is very insistent on this and has used phrases such as, "I will not legally bind myself to you until you can prove A, B, C." He has never asked me to marry him, but has brought up marriage to me along and along, always in the context of why we can't. He wants to make the rings but can't right now because he doesn't have a bench or the tools or the materials. He wants the baby to be older so he can remember it. And now this issue is apparently so pressing, I am unmarriable unless I force sell my ex-husband's house out from under him. I am heartbroken, and although I did want us to get married, I now, because of this treatment, don't want to. How would you feel if you were in this situation? Is his demand reasonable? I feel like I'm doing everything I can to make him happy, but it's not enough for him. Am I being unreasonable? Am I being manipulated? It's absolutely idiocy to put the boyfriend on the deed when OP is the only one paying the mortgage. Why would OP put his name on anything? I'm 100% sure he's using OP for financial purposes. Saying he won't marry OP if is straight BS. He just won't marry OP. He just wants more money and that's it. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Mobile Mountain says, "Why the effing crap would you put his name on your deed? Why?" Express Guest 3191 says, "Because she doesn't learn from her mistakes, that's why." Carolina Mama 2015 says, "You have really poor judgment and taste in men. 1. You should have had your name taken off that house as a condition of the divorce, cause if it gets foreclosed on, that's majorly affecting you. 2. You jumped into a new relationship after your divorce, had a new baby, and let new mooch live off you. Also, putting his name on your new house? So now you are playing the same game with a different player. If you and him break up, he has equal rights to the house too. So you could potentially lose 2 homes, and you said yourself you're barely making it financially. You need to force the sale of your old house and try and figure out how to get boyfriend's name off your current house." Banana Pajama Jammer says, "Well, it's too late now. He already gets half the equity on the house for investing $0.0. Some background context. Me and my husband have been married for 10 years. We dated for close to 5 years before that. We are very happily married and are on the same page with our goals for life, travel, finances, etc. We live in a different country from my in-laws. We both are working and have 6-figure incomes. I went through a lot of struggle from childhood to be able to gain this sense of financial security. So saving money and having enough for future means a lot to me. I have the scarcity mentality because of childhood trauma. I'm also really introverted and need a lot of alone time to feel normal. Now that I have set some context, I will jump right into the situation that has got me a bit frustrated. My in-laws, and us as a couple, get along okay. Nothing to write home about, but we are generally in a cordial speaking terms. My husband is a bit more closer to them. He calls them once or twice a week, etc. Around 5 years back, my in-laws came visiting us, against our weak protests. They wanted to stay with us for 6 months in a small 2-bed apartment where me, my husband, and kid live. After a bit of back and forth, we were able to get them to agree to 4 months. They visited. It was miserable as expected. My father-in-law, specifically, has a bad habit of mumbling under his breath, commenting about us when we were right there. It really got on our nerves. Finally, because of a lot of friction, they cut short their trip to 3 months and left. Because of this really bad experience, we hesitated to have our in-laws with us again. So when it had been a few years since we met them, we decided to fly to our home country and spend a month there, hoping that would deter them from visiting us. We spent a bunch of money on flight tickets, gifts for everyone, and traveled there for a month. We split the time between my husband's family and mine. My husband sent money ahead of time to my father-in-law for any added grocery expenses that they will have to bear since we stayed with them for part of the trip. He also sends money every month for their expenses. We paid for all the outings when we were there, restaurants and such. Now, my in-laws insisted that they visit us for a month after this trip. They've been insisting this for a few years, and by this time, I was worn out having this discussion over and over again. So I told my husband, let's just buckle up and let them come and stay with us exactly for a month. He and I resolved that we will somehow put up with any negative experiences and said okay for their visit. We did not offer to pay for their expensive flight tickets, $3,000, because we had already spent close to $10,000 for our trip to our home country, flights, gifts, eating out, etc. My father-in-law went ahead and booked a Euro trip for him and my mother-in-law. They went to Zurich, Rome, and Vienna. After their Euro trip, they came and stayed with us for 5 weeks. We had requested them to keep their trip to no longer than 4 weeks, but he went ahead and booked for 5 weeks anyway. My husband paid close to $1,000 for both their health insurance for their stay with us. I cooked all meals for the 5 weeks. My husband and I cleaned up. Every weekend we took them for outings entirely paid by us. They didn't have to spend any money when they stayed with us. They only used their money for any gifts they wanted to buy for friends and extended family. Their stay came and went. It was stressful, but we somehow pulled through without any fights or problems. Now they are back in their home country for 3 weeks. My husband gets an email from his father saying that the last money that my husband sent him was in June. July was their Euro trip, and August they stayed with us, so he did not send the monthly amount. Their tickets, including Euro trip, was $4,000, and that he had not seen any money come into his account for this. Both my husband and I were shocked and pretty damn frustrated seeing this email. My husband and his sister warned their parents that this is quite an expensive trip, and they should think before planning this. They went against this and booked the trip anyway. Now they have an expectation that we should pay them for their tickets. We feel that we should not be held responsible for bad decisions. It is not really a matter of the money, but the principle of it all. Actions have consequences, etc. Also, the email that my father-in-law wrote was fully passive-aggressive, stating that he used to send money to his mother, even with his small salary, and that my husband is just too busy with his family to think about all this. And the funny part is, I shared my frustration with my mother. Big mistake. She turned around and painted me this selfish, arrogant person who should share money without thinking because somehow God blessed me with a well-paying job. Seriously, we, the a-holes here? I can't seem to escape this narrative that we are basically selfish a-holes because we are careful with money, even though we both are working. Some added context. On top of monthly expenses, my husband sends money for any additional medical emergencies. He also purchased a car for my father-in-law last year when his car became too old. I myself purchased a diamond pendant for my mother-in-law last year as a gift. Presquinord says, not the a-hole. Sounds like your in-laws are using you, or at least taking advantage of your money. So when you visit them, you send them money for your meals. But when they visit you, you're expected to pay for the flights and meals? Am I reading this right? And then the father-in-law has the nerve to send an email demanding you pay for their Euro trip after it had happened? Nope. Stand your ground. Laura Mommy says, shut up about how much money you have. No more information, period. These people should have saved their own money for their travels and retirement. Happiness Level Max says, not the a-hole. It is exhausting to hear repeatedly that children are their parents' retirement plans. You do not have children so that they can finance you later in life. It is absolutely wonderful that you are able to assist your in-laws, but there should never be an expectation for it.